Let's get into an offensive revival for Kliff Kingsbury, Jayden Daniels, and the Washington Commanders.
Number 1.
That, boys and girls, was the offense that we saw earlier this year. And there were two main components that really made me have that feeling while watching film that I was like, oh, yeah, they're back. Like, this is the same thing. And that's not to say that guaranteed these 4 games after the bye, they're going to come out and be able to do everything they did yesterday. And their highest output of the season, points-wise, 42 on Tennessee, a defense that had been playing at a top 10 level over the last couple of weeks. Not yesterday. And boy, did their offense and special teams not help them out. But there were two main factors that made it feel like the old Commanders offense from earlier in this season. And it starts with the running game. And Kliff Kingsbury had a fantastic plan. And I'm sure they saw some stuff on tape that they thought they could really take advantage of. And that was in what we typically call sub runs. So in sub defense, a.k.a. not your base, most teams are going to go 4 down. So you get 11 personnel, 3 wide receivers, 1 tight end, 1 running back. So 1 running back, 1 tight end, 1 and 1. That's 11 personnel. And then Tennessee matches that with nickel. 5 defensive backs. They take a linebacker off the field. And this is a 3-4 defense in its base. So now instead of being in a 3-down front with 2 outside linebackers, which kind of winds up playing like a 5 on the defensive line a lot of times, you're back down to 4. And Tennessee also plays in that really, really widely. Their splits are mega wide. So they might have a 1 technique who's in between the center and the guard, and a 3 technique who's over between the guard and the tackle, and then their ends are way the hell out wide. And that's a good look to run into. You can hit any angle you want to, and they try to be aggressive. They had some wham stuff in there to kind of use that aggressiveness against the Tennessee Titans, something teams have done to the Commanders quite a bit, if we're being transparent about it this year. And they hit those blocks. They were able to fire off the ball because of the space that was there. And just it was a really well-called game by Kliff. And then the Brian Robinson of it all, where he just gets downhill quickly. He's into the second level. He's smashing into people. I mean, just a beautifully executed game plan. Kliff also did some really smart stuff with personnel that we'll continue to get to in terms of, hey, when we went a little bit heavier, we passed more out of it. So they did a good job of mixing and matching, subverting expectation, and clearly scouted things very, very well on Tennessee.
Number 2.
And the second thing that made it feel like the Commanders offense of 2024, when the Commanders offense of 2024 has been at its absolute best, was Jayden Daniels took perfectly covered plays, things that in structure are defensive wins, and turn them into successful plays. So 2 examples. First quarter, 5:01 to go. The Commanders call a shot, and it's one of my favorite shot plays in football. It's a tight end leak. So they try to bring everyone to first of all, they boot to the left, or run action to the left, boot back to the right. So now all of a sudden, the play's all flowing to the right. You try to get a deep post to the right. If that's there, you step into the thing and let it go. Typically, that's not going to be there because the deep safety, who's there in case of emergency, is like, I see what you're doing. And then you get the safety going to cover the post. So what do you do with that? Well, you hope that backside corner either follows the receiver who's going to sprint across the formation in man coverage, or he crashes down into the run fake, and then you take your tight end from the front side of the play, the right side, and you leak him back across. Like, he pretends like he's blocking. Oh, no, I got caught up in the wash. And then he just sneaks and leaks up the seam on the other side. Well, they shut down the post. Ben Sinnott's trying to run the leak. They shut it down. They shut down all the short options, and Jayden Daniels runs for 5 yards. 2nd and 5, we're good. Offense is on track. Cool. Great. That's demoralizing for a defense. 2nd and 5s means you lost the down, and you covered everything perfectly. And if 2nd and 5 means you've lost the down, what happens when you got in 2nd and 3? Well, that's when you definitely lost. Commanders get the ball back off the quick change. It's 19 seconds to go in the first quarter. First play of that drive after the turnover. And they run another play action boot. This one also rolling out to the right. And It's your typical play action boot where you then have a 3-level read. So you have someone running in the flat, someone running kind of a middle, 10 yards-ish towards the sideline with the quarterback, and then a deeper route also breaking out towards the sideline where you have the quarterback with 1, 2, 3 receivers in his vision. Can I hit one? Answer's no, because they cover it all. Here's the bad news. If you're covering the flat, that means the flat player is with the receiver, and everyone else is chasing. And a lot of times, for most quarterbacks, your defensive lineman can kind of get down, or your linebackers, even if they got caught up in the run fake initially, can get back to the quarterback. Not if the quarterback's Jayden Daniels. He runs for 7 yards. It's now 2nd and 3. Jayden only had 34 yards rushing, I believe was the total in this game. It felt like he had 70 because all of the rushes were so unbelievably impactful, and they helped bail the offense out of bad plays. And not even, I want to say bad plays, unsuccessful plays. Things where, hey, defense got us because the other guys get paid too. Denard Wilson's a good defensive coordinator. They've got good defensive players over there. That's all fantastic. Didn't matter because Jayden Daniels is faster than your guys. And that simple fact was enough to propel the Commanders just to play after play, drive after drive, score after score. 21 points in the first quarter. Another drive that starts in the first, finishes with a touchdown in the second. It could have been worse. Zane Dallas missed 2 field goals. We'll talk about it. They score 14 in the fourth, and it is 42 points for the Commanders' offense. And it all started with a guy that you, of course, know and love.
Number 3.
And that is Terry McLaurin. We talked a lot about Terry. Obviously, we didn't have the show a ton last week because of the holiday. But we talked about Terry quite a bit on Take Command and on this show for the show that we had. And we talked about the left side, right side thing and the alignments and what does Kliff need to do. Well, they come out on the first play of the game. They line Terry up on the right. And sure enough, Houston, Jesus Christ, how many AFC South teams am I? Anthony, are we just playing AFC South roulette here?
I think so.
And eventually I'll say the team that they smashed yesterday. The Titans.
There you go.
Titans, that's who they played. All those teams. AFC South's a weird division, man.
It is.
It's a very weird division. Anyway, the point is, the Titans, who the Commanders smashed yesterday in smithereens, they played this really soft quarters coverage. Terry runs like a 9-yard hitch, catches it, is able to fall forward, bang, first down. Terry's on the board. Love to see it. They moved him around, had other stuff in the slot that was really, really good. Obviously in the red zone. And even on the 2 touchdowns, those were 3rd down in the red zone. When the situation mattered, Terry McLaurin was the target. And there's even a couple of other plays where I think it's designed for Terry, and Jayden made other decisions on 3rd down. And I'm like, ooh, I might have thrown Terry there. That probably would have been better. But in a game where he had 8 catches on 8 targets for 73 yards, it felt like he had about 150 because the actual catches he made were so impactful. And his long was only 16. It wasn't like he was stretch the field, 70-yard bomb Terry McLaurin in this one. He didn't break a slant for 60. He just consistently made the plays that needed to be made, including in the red zone, including on 3rd down. Excellent, excellent usage of your best player by Kliff Kingsbury. Great execution by Terry. 8 catches on those 8 targets. And credit to Jayden for knowing, hey, big spot, let me look for my guy. Let me trust him. And no better example than the slant touchdown where Jayden just absolutely rips a ball. Contested catch. Crazy good catch by Terry McLaurin to continue that scoring rampage early for the Commanders.